we did like this movie, so don't stop before you guys are on your keyboards. You're like, fuck you! Fuck you! Don't do that.
Are they in a musical style?
Yeah.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to We Watched a Movie. I'm Jay and this is Mike. And today, we're going to be reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man. Not the sensational, not spectacular, not Spider-Man, the Amazing
Not the Ultimate,
Spider-Man.
not 2099.
2099 is too far away. Nope. We just won't be alive. The Amazing Spider-Man, the reboot of Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. This one stars Andrew Garfield, Emma Thompson, Dennis Leary, Sally Fields, Martin Sheen, and what's that dude's name?
Rhys Ifans.
Rhys
I'm not
Ifans.
sure if that's how you say it, but he was the kicker in The Replacement.
I don't
That
give a
smoked all the
shit.
cigarettes.
So they decided to reboot this movie after Spider-Man 3 flopped at the box office, which I can't blame them. Nobody wanted to see Emo Maguire anymore. I can dance. Okay, so basically, Spider-Man, it's been around since, I think, 1962, so the story's pretty much the same. Kid, nerdy kid, good-natured kid, a high school student gets bit by a radioactive spider, and he gets the superhuman strength and agility of a spider.
Yep.
And in
We're not
this...
going to give away too much more than that because we don't want to tell you exactly how they do the origin story because that's part of the mystery.
Orange story?
Oranges. Yeah. But you know that, it's weird, Andrew Garfield's a year older than Tobey Maguire.
I wonder if he came up with the Social Network while he was in high school or college.
It's weird because Andrew Garfield's a year older in real
Yeah,
life
it's
than
weird.
Tobey Maguire was when he did this.
Social
Thank you for
Network.
letting me finish my sentence. No, Andrew Garfield is the perfect Spider-Man. I like him far and away better than Tobey Maguire. He's much more... I'm just going to go through my quick thing real quick because the first half of the movie is so much better to me than the second half of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I liked the origin part better than when he actually became Spider-Man. And here's why. Andrew Garfield, he was much, and you can tell a little bit of this from the previews, he's much more of a smart mouth. He's much less of a, oh my goodness, geez. Like, he's kind of a, you know, once he gets his powers, like, he goes after, like, the people who picked on him and stuff like that. Like, he's not just like a whiny little brat at all. He's perfect. Like, he's a smart mouth. He's got kind of a dark side to him. He's got kind of an attitude, and he's a smart ass, just like Spider-Man.
Because I didn't like, not that he's not a great actor, Martin Sheen, I just didn't have the emotional investment that I had in the original with the Uncle Ben storyline.
You know what I think that was? I felt the exact same way. Like, Martin Sheen's a better actor, but it didn't feel right. Like, he had the perfect look, and you think it's going to be Martin Sheen. I guess maybe you assume he's going to be so good.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a letdown a little bit. He wasn't bad, but he just was kind of just Martin Sheen.
He needed to be Uncle Ben from The Rice.
Uncle Ben's
I always get emotional when I look at that Uncle Ben.
orange box.
I want Uncle Ben to be my Uncle Ben. I need to have an emotional attachment there.
Yeah.
And there was none.
Yeah.
I just didn't care.
I think everybody was kind of wondering, like, why? Well, they're rebooting it? Why? Like, it
I
didn't
didn't-
make any sense. They're making a whole new origin story. Like, we just saw the origin story a few years ago, so it makes it kind of awkward. And when you're watching the movie, you can tell that the filmmakers were so aware of the other origin story, they stayed away from certain points that the other one focused on, and they retreaded other parts. Like, I don't want to give anything away, but there's main points of Spider-Man's origin story that are big deals, but because the other movie made such a big deal of that, this movie couldn't. So they kind of just ran through it real quick. The costume. He goes almost from, you know, we'll just say there's two different versions of the costume. The one when it's not fully done, and then the fully done one that you see in the trailers. Now, he goes from the kind of crappy, like, half-made one right into the full one with, like, one sentence explaining it. And it's like a whole completely different suit with all this new stuff.
Yeah, I didn't like that. You know what
They didn't explain where it came from at all. And the reason they did that is because in the first one, they had that really cool backstory where he went and he wrestled and all that stuff. And this movie didn't want to touch it. And the whole movie had little parts like that.
I just didn't like the costume.
I didn't like the costume very much either. It was just
glittery.
too, like, the eyes stuck out a little bit too much. It looked like the Cobra. It looked like the ninja uniform from the Ninja Turtle movies, the Cobra guys. They had the bug eyes.
The
Foot Clan.
Yeah, it did look like a foot. But yeah, and it was like sparkly, and it was just, I don't know, it was just like, it looked like it belonged at like a rave party or something.
Right.
Like some kid was like, hey guys, I gotta get Spider-Man costume, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's do it!
No, it wasn't that bad looking. It was just that the first three Spider-Man movies, the one thing every movie got right was the costume.
Yeah.
It always looked perfect.
I kind of got disappointed in the CGI way that they made Lizard's face. He looked like a Garbage Pail Kid in the face. Because, I mean, they made his face look more like a human, like he had round human eyes.
Yeah.
I think they should have just made it where it was like a lizard slit eyes, like, you know, lizard-like.
Yeah.
And more, like, he didn't even have a snout. It just looked like a face, like he looked like a Garbage Pail Kid. I did like that they focused on more of Peter Parker's scientific mind. I thought that was cool. Like, they showed him, like, being a science buff and creating his own web shooters, which is pretty neat. That goes by comic book lore. He actually never had it coming out of his wrist like Maguire. That was, by the way, that was actually James Cameron's invention.
Oh, really?
When he was set to direct it, he said, well, it'd be just easier if it just came out of his wrist rather than build the contraption.
Nice tidbit there.
I liked that they set him in high school. I thought that was cool because he is a scrawny kid and nerdy in high school, and that's how he
Well,
gets.
the first one did too.
No, he was only in high school for a little bit, and then he goes to college.
Oh, okay.
And then they introduced Gwen Stacy, who in the comic book lore again is before Mary Jane. And I did like all the actors. I thought the actors were cool. I thought they all played their part well.
Yeah.
And I did like Garfield better than Maguire.
I did too, man. That's one
I
of my main points about this movie. Magoo.
That the one scene that he was like talking to the mugger, that was like the funniest scene. Like the rest of it kind of like his wittiness.
That scene, I'm sitting there and watching, dude, and I was so into it at that point. Like when the scene you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was so into it. I was like, this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be better than the other one. And then that one scene happened, and they stopped right there. They went right from there, right back into kind of Sam Raimi territory. He was like all like, woohoo!
Yeah.
And he wasn't
even when he was
so,
fighting,
he wasn't so dark anymore.
Like when he was fighting the lizard on the subway,
Yeah.
on top of the roof, and his little one-liners that were stupid. They weren't even like.
They weren't as good
Like,
as-
whoops, almost got me. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was like someone wrote the first half of the movie and then someone else wrote the second half. Garfield, awesome. And I read that he cried like the first time he actually put on the Spider-Man uniform. Dude, that's awesome. That's what you want in an actor. You want them to be all into it and stuff like that. Dude, that's freaking cool.
Yeah, if I put on a Spider-Man costume and I start crying.
To be an actor in the movie, like that, if that was your dream to do,
No.
there's nothing wrong with that at all, dude. That's badass. That's awesome.
Okay, Rockstar.
And you could tell in the way that he did it, like he put a lot of work into this, and I think he's going to be an amazing actor. But the other thing I was going to say, Mary Jane does not hold a candle to Gwen Stacy,
Yeah.
and Emma Stone, she just took that role. I mean, she was awesome.
Yeah.
And Emma Stone didn't bother me at all. She wasn't annoying. One point in the movie, I actually enjoyed her character when she was on screen. Dennis Leary is freaking awesome. I don't know why he's not in more stuff. I love Rescue Me. It's one of my favorite TV shows ever. And just Dennis Leary is an awesome actor. He's great in this movie. So the acting in this movie is better than I think.
Yeah.
The acting in this movie is better than it was in the original Spider-Man movie. But once they get into the graphics and they get into how Spider-Man looks and they get into the action scenes, it didn't feel that fun anymore.
I don't like the lizard as a villain.
The Lizard as a villain's fine, but they didn't spend. That's
But-
my other main
But
point.
he's a
with the movie.
sidekick. I think he's more of like a subplot rather than a main villain.
I don't have a problem with the Lizard as a villain. I had a problem with what they did with him. There was nothing interesting about the villain to me in this.
Never
movie.
inject green goo into your skin.
No, don't do
That
that.
shit happens.
Don't do that. But I did like this movie. I liked it a lot. I give it a 7.5. I think it was a solid movie. And I just think that the movie didn't really have a chance because as good as it was and as well made as the film was, it was a little bit too long. But it didn't have a chance because it's not been long enough since the other Spider-Man. Like they should have made a Spider-Man 4. But I'm really glad to see Andrew Garfield in this, and I look forward to the sequels from here on. So 7.5. I enjoyed the movie a lot.
I'm gonna give it a 7.0. I think it was solid acting. It was, everybody did their part well. I think the origin story, the detailed origin story, was pretty cool. Like I said, I think it was just a little bit too long, a little bit done. I think that sometimes that they lost in translation the wittiness of Spider-Man. Like they didn't put enough emphasis on that. But overall, it's a solid checkout. I think it's a solid installment to Spider-Man. But like I agree with you. I don't think they could have. I really don't think they needed to reboot the movie. I think they could have just taken the bulk that they had and done Spider-Man 4 and then maybe done a couple of flashbacks to his origin story, maybe changed it a little bit.
The reason Batman Begins works so well is because in all the Batman movies that came before it, they never really delved into the origin story. They did in the original Spider-Man, so it makes this one
Well,
really
and the
hard.
difference with the Batman thing is, I mean, you had Batman Forever and Batman Robin, it hit tanks so bad,
Well,
and then
yeah.
they had to reboot it,
Well,
and they wanted to
Spider-Man
go.
3 to
Spider-Man
start
3 was bad, but it wasn't bad enough to
Yeah.
where it warranted a whole new, brand new reboot.
Yeah, but I am glad that they rebooted at the end of the day because we have James Garfield and
Andrew Garfield.
and why do I keep saying James?
I don't know. What do you Rate, comment, subscribe. I'm Jay, and this is Mike. What is your favorite?
You didn't have a question.
Yeah, I did.
What
I
is
did, and you made me forget it. What is your favorite Spider-Man villain? There, that's a good one.
Yeah. What's your favorite Spider-Man villain?
And who should have been on this one?
Or who should be in the next one?
I think it should be Black
Dude,
Widow.
I'm ready to go straight in. Shut up.
Electro.
I'm
Shocker.
ready to go straight the frick into Venom and Carnage. I don't care the
Yeah.
storyline. I've been wanting to see him. They screwed Venom up so bad in the third one. I think it would be amazing to have Venom as a villain. What do you guys think? Let us know. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie.